So a lot of people have a list of what they want. You touched on it a bit earlier, Quinten, about the
I knew you
broad
was coming this way. I knew you was
shoulders,
coming
6
this way.
foot, and all this sort of thing. And I guess some guys might do it as well. So what do you think about that? Do you think it is a good idea to kind of be intentional about what you're kind of looking for? Kind of like really think about, these are things that I really want, that I kind of not willing to negotiate on because of what I want out of life. I don't know. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think no, you should be
Guys have
open?
more lists than females do.
That was quick.
As in more like, oh, she has to have this body type and look this, like more like that. Whereas females will have an idea but be more open. I definitely don't have a list. I don't have a list. I'm just going to say that.
I feel like it's quite half-half.
I feel like you both have lists, but okay.
I mean, you know what it is? It's weird. Like, I think there's an unwritten list. If that.
Still a list.
Hold on, yeah.
Do you have a list?
There's an
Do you have a list?
unwritten.
There's a criteria.
Okay, do you have a list?
But that's the same for girls
Point
as
proven,
well.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
There's an okay, fine, yeah. There's an unwritten list where there are certain things that I look for, but it doesn't necessarily mean if they're not there, it's a no. You know, that's true. That's true. I'm just
So
saying.
that's another question. If someone doesn't tick all the things on your list,
There are certain things I would prefer them to tick, and then there are other sort of perks, should we say? I'm really digging, aren't I?
I'd love to see your list.
I love that.
It would be, no, I'm joking.
Essential,
perks.
desirable, just, you know.
Yeah, like a CV, yeah, something like that.
Okay.
No, I think,
This is so interesting.
but being honest, there are, stop.
All right, okay.
There are some things that I look for, whether that's so much defined as a list, I don't know. Because for me, hair is the first physical attraction that I look at on the girl. Not if it's there, just
Yeah, of course.
you know, like colour and length and stuff.
Of course, yeah.
But you know, I'm a brunette lover, but I feel there are some blondes that can't be ignored. I feel there are some red. Do you know what I mean? I feel there's potential, there's room.
This is brilliant.
So what I'm saying is, I think that, like you said, there are some desirable things. I don't think essential is something you can actually look for straight away, because I think the main things that you look for in a relationship would be the honesty, the trust, and that's stuff that takes a long time to really feel or believe in that person that you're maybe seeing. But I think there are some sort of, like the physical attraction. So yes, there is I don't know whether there's a list as in all body parts. It's just more, you know, when you see a girl, whether you're attracted to them. So if you class physical attraction as something on the list, I think that's just a generic for me and yes, most guys, because I want to be physically attracted, because eventually I would hope I would have sex with that person. And I wouldn't be able to, or even kiss, like we're basic. I wouldn't feel like I could do that if I wasn't physically attracted to them. And I think that's a big important part of a relationship. Like, that's quite a romantic.
But can that attraction not grow? It can't grow.
It can. The problem with it, in my opinion, is that if you're not originally,
Why did you laugh at that?
I haven't said anything yet. I'm just listening.
if you're not originally attracted to that person, I think it kind of feels a bit like more, I'm now investing a lot of time and effort to see if the personality of that person is going to make up for that attraction I'm losing.
Yes.
Not like as in make up for as in you're ugly. I mean make up for as in the initial attraction wasn't there.
I agree.
So it's like,
So you need something to make up for that.
okay, bad words, but I don't mean make up for it. It's more, you're investing time to find out whether they've got a lot more there. And in that case, it's like saying on the apps, swipe everyone, because it doesn't matter what they look like. And for me, it does matter what they look like. But if they, I'm going to stop, I'm done. That's my part
I
done.
think that's a good point, because like I wouldn't be on an app because I know that I can't gauge from looking at someone if I'm going to be attracted to them. So I couldn't be on an app.
At least you'll never get catfished then. That's all right then.
Oh God. Quinten, you were laughing quite a bit. What
I
your
was
thoughts?
laughing. I was laughing. I agree a lot of what he said. Now, there is a criteria for me. I need to be attracted, and as what you said as well, definitely me. Anyway, I definitely intend on having sex with this person, so I need to be attracted, and there needs to be a lot of motivation there to be like, yes, I like this person a lot. And obviously, for me, physique is an important thing. I like to keep my physique on point, and I would like my person to be on point as well. That's just something I've always had. And I'm not going to go into the details of the body parts and etc. You can probably figure that out. But yeah, I think it's important.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a list, though. I don't. I think that
Have a list.
people. I think it's good. It's good to. I think people should have an idea of what they're not willing to compromise on,
Yeah.
and I definitely have things that I'm not willing to compromise on, like smoking, for example.
Yeah, same.
That's a massive thing for me. I couldn't be with someone who smoked, amongst other things. But yeah, in terms of having a list of, I know people who are really strict, like they must have this and they must have this, and I think that's a bit.
Do you know what? I do have a list, and it's a list of deal breakers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I think it is. I think it's a list of deal breakers where
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like, if I meet that person, there's certain things I find out. So, for example, if they're into traveling, for me, instantly, I'm like, this is not going to go anywhere. Because for me, I'm a home bird, and I'm not interested in seeing the whole world right now. So that's a deal breaker, and that's not necessarily a physical thing.
That's a better way to put it. A list
Yeah.
of deal breakers. I had this conversation with someone literally a few days ago. It was very interesting. Very interesting.
So there's a list for deal breakers.
Deal breakers.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
that
all
makes
right.
sense.
I think a list again. I know the list sounds bad, but again, you need to know what you like.
Yeah.
I think you get to a point where if you don't know what you like and you don't have a list, then you're going to keep meeting the wrong people.
But that's like if you have a type. I don't have a type. So it's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think definitely similar. Because otherwise, you're going to come across all these people, and if you don't know what your type or list or preference is, then you're just going to be probably going back to square one a lot of the time. And that's why for me, like I said, because I know my list or desires, I can pretty much fast track quite quickly whether this is going to go somewhere or it's not going to go somewhere.
When you've dated people, have you ever sent pictures to your friends and them sort of say to you, oh, you have a type, don't you? Like, and if not, does it surprise you that suddenly...
Oh yeah, my friends, I only send pictures to my close people, so I know where that's going. But yeah, I say my friends, close friends, they know exactly what my type is.
Because I've done that, and then I've found that sometimes I can't see it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've
Interesting.
dated 2 or 3 different people and gone, oh, this is who I'm going on a date with tonight.
yeah,
And they've gone, oh, you have a type, don't you? And I'm like, do I?
Yeah.
Like, who does she remind you of? Like, and I can't see it.
Yeah.
Because they know it, but you don't.
Yeah,
know.
they can see it and they go, oh, that looks like blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah? You know, and so it's weird because I don't know. In my head, I feel like I have a type.
Yeah.
But then sometimes people sort of say, that's not what you're describing. So, yeah.
But don't you feel like having a type might be limiting you?
I feel there's enough choice out there in today's world. And I think that's, again, it's a problem, but I do think that there is choice.
Like, for example, if someone was to say, I only, like for you saying you prefer brunettes, if you was to say, I only date brunettes.
Well, that's why I said I can't.
But just for example, you said, I only date brunettes.
Okay, yeah.
And then all the blonde females would never, you might actually have a really deep connection, but you would never know because you're limiting yourself to saying, I only date brunettes. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's why the only people I wouldn't date is the whole deal breaker side of it.
Yeah.
And that's more, I think a lot of that actually is more interests. So, the idea of like smoking, for example, it's something they do, something I don't want to be near. Traveling, something they do, don't want to be near. But having said that, I've had days where I have looked at a picture and within a second I've gone no.
Yeah.
And I haven't even considered that there might be 4 other pictures which are even better, and I've gone, oh, what did I miss out on? Which is bad mentality, but that's
it's
how
a habit, though, is
yeah,
what you
it's a
do.
habit
Yeah,
of just sort of seeing like, okay, I've been with someone more attractive, so no, like it does happen. I know, I'm not willing to open up and say that, but it can happen.
Wow. I think everyone, you might not be able to put your finger on your type. Or you might not think you have a type, but there's stuff that you're attracted to that you're just automatically kind of attracted to without maybe realizing. I think it's a natural thing, obviously, to have an attraction. So for males and for females, although I do think males are the more kind of visual, kind of fiercely visual types, I do think even for females, you are attracted to what you're attracted to. But then, like you said earlier, Shameeka, about the fact that we're a bit more open to kind of give someone a chance, even if you're not automatically or immediately rather attracted to them. But yeah, lists I think are good. Maybe it depends. I guess it depends on the content of the list. That's what I would say. So for me, my list would be more character type things on my list. So if someone is a compulsive liar, for instance, that's a deal breaker. Do you see what I mean? So I think it's more, so honesty, like you said, is an important thing. And other character kind of things, just about the kind of character of the person, the moral makeup of a person, would be.
For you?
Huh?
Physique, looks, is that something on your list, or is that not?
No,
really?
actually, no. Funny, okay, this is really weird. I don't think I could be with someone shorter than me.
There you go.
Simply because I know it's very weird, but I don't know if I'd be able to like properly respect someone that's
I
shorter
think
than
that's
me.
a lady. I think that is a lady thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
But
that's-
ladies' things would be different to men's things.
Yeah, and it's really weird.
I've heard that one before as
But
well.
I wouldn't say it's not a hard no for someone shorter than me. But it's not my preference.
So it's okay.
Do you see what I mean? My preference would be for someone to be tall. I just
But
feel like
you would give that person a chance.
I would, yeah. I think because I'm quite open in that sense to give someone a chance. But the idea of me just looking down at someone, just that physical action, I just feel like would translate into my attitude. So, so yeah, I prefer if they'd be taller than me when I'm wearing heels. Let me just throw that in there. So yeah. Some kind of
I think everyone has their
That's what I'm trying to
judgment
say.
do.
That's my
wants
point.
and needs.
Everyone
or
has-
ideals as well.
Yeah,
Do you see what I mean? You might kind of break that, even that. But you
wouldn't
kind of
get
have to like, if
something
in an
going.
ideal world, this is what I'd love to have, but you'd
Yeah.
still negotiate, if you know what I
Oh
mean.
yeah, there's going to be ones that are constant. There's going to be some
Yeah,
variables in there.
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Some will not give.
Yeah.
That is imperative.
Yeah.
Some are actually, do you know what? I can actually bend that.
Yeah.
I can work with that.
So funny, isn't it? Negotiation between
I know it
dates.
sounds crazy, but at the same time, again, going back to the idea of what the purpose is. If your purpose is to find kind of a life partner or to be married, then I feel like you have a right to kind of be a bit more picky about what
Exactly.
you want. Because
Exactly.
if you're someone that's just, okay, I'm just dating, then yeah, I don't see why you're being crazy picky, because you don't really want something that lasts for long anyway. But I feel like if you're saying, okay, this is someone I want to do life with and have an attempt at doing what the previous generations have done, then I feel like you kind of do need to kind of be like, okay, there's certain things I'm not going to stand for. I do feel it changes with age as well. I think when you're younger, some things on your list just don't matter as you grow
No,
older,
100%.
or vice
Agree.
versa. As you grow older, you'll be like, actually, I didn't consider this as being important, but now I
agree.
do. So I do think it changes, but I do think it's important for people to have an idea of what they want, but to still be open. I think that's important. But yeah, okay, a bit of a fun question. Who should pay on the first date?
Oh, I love this question.
Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know
I
what?
love this.
Do you know what? I've had a fair few experiences with this actually. Now, in my opinion, I don't see. Okay, so we're obviously we're in the 21st century now. It's 2019. There's this whole contradiction of it's. I don't see what the problem is going 50-50 or getting to know somebody. I don't think, for example, men should have to pay all the time first time. It's one of those kind of things where it's. I'm not saying I've not done that before. I've done that before, but because I know I've got friends that have actually done that just to go get a free dinner. I've known that many times before. They just say, do you know what, they can go buy me a drink at the bar, or they can just go. We can go to dinner, and then obviously, oh sorry, I got to go meet my girls. I'm out. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, and that's for me. That's not going to happen to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I've experienced that as well. I've seen that and been like, yeah, that's blatantly like. I just got hustled right there. You know what I'm trying to say? And so for me now, it's one of those kind of things where it's just like, yeah, I need to make sure that this is a date and it's actually that if we're dating, there's a reason why we're dating. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So if you want to invest as much into me as much I want to invest into you, then I don't see why it can't be 50-50 or vice versa. Because I've gone on dates and women have paid for me before. And I've recognised that. I said, okay, thank you. You didn't have to do that. So then when we got on a date, I paid. And it just builds up that trust and that factor of, okay, money's not the issue here, because it's not about the money. It's about the fact of, are we actually building something here, or are we just trying to pull one over one another?
I think it depends on the scenario. Like if it's a sit-down dinner and then the bill comes, then obviously that's kind of like the awkward stage. I think, unfortunately, females do expect guys to pay, and a lot of females, myself and my friends, we judge how much a guy likes us on if he paid or not.
Wow.
100%.
So if he
Why
says,
is that then?
100%.
if he says, shall we go Dutch, he's not interested. He doesn't like. It's never happened to me, thankfully.
Wow. Oh my.
100%.
Okay, so
I so agree.
I've got a few.
But
Yeah, okay.
our point was proven when one of my friends, she went for a brunch date, and the guy was just like, yeah, let's go Dutch. And she was really like... And did they see each other again? No. Did they speak to each other again? No. He didn't like her. So I feel like if a guy likes a girl, he will offer, he'll say, I'll get this. Yeah.
I have rules. I'm just going based on the fact that the only way I dated after my ex was by apps. So whenever I swiped and matched people or whatever, depending on the effort they put into the conversation before the date would define whether they get drinks or dinner. That's the first thing. I'm not joking.
funny.
I'm not joking. For me, I was like, you know what? You're not giving me much. Let's go for a drink. You're actually engaging and you're giving me something to think about here. Let's go for dinner. Then, if I wanted to see them again, I would pay. And if I didn't, I'd be like, we're going to go halves. Well, not like we're going to. It's almost like slipping it in there, just like, Bill's there. And it's like, I'm reaching for my wallet, hoping they're reaching for their purse as well.
So it's based on...
Just hoping. When it doesn't happen, I'm like, wait a second. Just waiting. But
It's definitely based on how much you like the female, isn't it?
That's how I've done it. I have done it like that. If you're making effort, because I've been on dates with girls before, and this is why I've learned from it, where they've given me nothing. And I'm just like, there is no way I'm paying for your side when you've come here today. And I'm sitting here like, this is pointless.
And you shouldn't have to as well.
Yeah, you're not interested in me. It's quite clear. So have the decency to at least be like, we'll go halves, you know. And yeah, I do have those those are written rules.
Sorry, I've got more to say about this. And another thing that's happened as well, because obviously there's another girl that I actually dated. Now, she was basically banging on about how traditional she was. I said, okay, that's cool, that's fine. So if you expect a man to pay for the bill, when I'm home, are you cooking the dinner? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Though? So where are we going with this? So if I'm coming there and there's not hot food on the table, so what's going on then? Because when we go out, you're expecting me to pay for the bill. So do you know what I mean? So there's always these like roles reversal. So it's got to be consistent. So that's what I've learned firsthand as well, which is another reason why I make it clear that if you go somewhere, it's like, okay, cool. So how do you expect your men to be? Like, what are you expecting here? I make it very clear before we even go anywhere. Because obviously I don't want that awkward moment. Because I've been on that awkward moment when the bill comes and it's like rustling around.
But I feel like it's only awkward when you know that this isn't. Yeah, that's the only time. If you like the person and you know we're 100% seeing each other again, it's not awkward. I feel like if anyone who's going anywhere should be willing and have the means to pay for what they are doing.
Agree.
Yeah, at the very least.
Agree.
I'm always willing, and I offer most of the time. I offer if I want to see the person again. But if he was to turn around and be like, yeah, okay, you pay half, that, I'm not going to lie, it would put me off him. It would.
Can I ask, do you judge a guy based on where he's going to take you as well? Not judge a guy, but as in, does that appeal to you? Because I
think if you're trying to take me McDonald's, then that's...
Well, that's a bit...
Do you see what I mean? No, for me, if you're like, yo, let's go McDonald's, I might go. It depends how much I like you.
But
I'd be like, I would have to figure out what are you thinking, because you don't...
Not straight away, McDonald's, that's
I'd rather you be like, let's go Costa, let's go Costa Coffee, let's go Starbucks. Do you see what I'm saying?
If a girl said to me, do you want to go to McDonald's, I would marry them. I'd like, that is perfect.
That's insane.
I'm not joking. You have just the key to my heart right there. Bring the ketchup as well. Like, I'm there. Seriously.
I can't. I'd rather, if you want to do, like, you could, I'm not fussy in the sense of, we could do a lunchtime thing. Let's go to a coffee shop, whatever. It doesn't have, it doesn't have to be something fancy. I feel like sometimes those things can be a bit more awkward. You're probably more relaxed in a kind of regular environment anyway.
But then again,
but McDonald's is disrespectful.
But it depends on your feelings. Well, okay, so I got question. Have you ever paid for a bill before?
Yes.
Have you ever paid for a bill before?
Half, not the whole bill.
Yeah.
Like
what was the circumstances that you paid for the bill? How did that happen?
The time I paid, it was recently actually, and I can't swear, I was about to swear. I'm still angry about it, actually. How rude. I feel like, honestly, I'm vexed. How dare you?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring up
that. Good, man. What's the story?
Did he ask you out?
How did
Basically, it was someone who had been on my Instagram for at least 2 years, and then moved to Snap, and we just kind of used to talk. And then one day it's like, okay, let's meet up and go for something to eat.
Who said that? You or him?
I'm not sure, you know, it was probably a build-up though. There had been many times where he had asked me out a lot, but it might have been a thing where, oh yeah, I'm not doing nothing. Okay, do you want to go get something to eat? And yeah, I went to some Thai place, and it makes it worse when you didn't really enjoy your food as well.
Yeah.
Really didn't enjoy my food. So the bill comes now, and he's really just like sitting there. This was in summer. He's really just sitting there. And I'm like, wow. But like I said, if I go somewhere, I'm always going to be and willing to pay for what I've done. But I thought, let's play this out. And yeah, the bill comes, the woman goes get the card machine. He doesn't draw for his wallet, no Apple Pay, nothing. He's just sitting there. And I'm really like, okay, I didn't like you anyway.
Wow.
Because I didn't really like him anyway. I was going for, it was one of those I'm going for the sake of it things.
Okay.
So I feel like the same way where if he paid, it would be the thing, she was here for a free meal.
Right.
It was the same sort of situation. So I thought, you know what, I can't be mad at you for that because I'm feeling the same way. So got in his car, he's like, do you want me to drop you to your car? And I was like, yes. And then...
Always pay the petrol to get there, though.
And I was like, you know what, you can just drop me here and I'll walk. And he was like, and then I get out, he's like, no hug. No, are you insane? But he's still someone that's on my social media, and he's someone that I find physically good looking, but everything else is just not there. But yeah.
Because if you're driving, you can definitely afford to pay for the date.
Yeah. It was just rude.
Like, you're not broke.
It was just rude. And what made it confusing is that I know he obviously likes me, but again, I think he liked me, he's probably, she's someone that I'd sleep with and not really anything deeper.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fine. That will never happen. So, especially after you didn't pay. So,
I think that's rude.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
Have you ever been on a date where a girl has just helped herself to some of your food?
Yes.
Does that bother you? I can tell that bothers you.
I went ballistic.
Yeah,
I was livid.
Was this as in like a first date?
You don't like to share?
It was a
first
first
date?
No, there's a difference between, like, you know, having permission and helping yourself, right? We went sushi. I love sushi. So we ordered sort of our own dishes, and it was kind of, you get where it's going. I was there. It was the last one. It was the last one. And she took my sushi, just like, I think I was just kind of sitting there waiting for it to go down, so I was quite full. So it was sitting there. It was there. And I was
So
just
you
like,
was full, you didn't even really want it.
I was waiting just to make a bit of room. I don't like leaving food, so it was mine, for sure.
Exactly.
And she just leant over and was just like, oh, leaving it, are we? Gone.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Blood pressure high, everything red.
You know what I mean? I was going to pay. That was halves. That was halves straight up. Straight away. I was going to pay. That was halves.
Ruined it at the last moment.
I'm not even joking. This happened to me, and I was like, I went home feeling so annoyed because I had to tell my parents. I was like, do you know what just happened? Like, I've never done that before to a girl.
That's cute. So your parents
It was not cute.
No, what's cute is that your parents are the ones who you would go and.
I mean, my dad had a laugh about it with me.
He was on the date with.
I mean, his look was the audacity.
But like for me, I'd be straight on the phone to my girl. Do you know he just did this?
I was so
straight away.
But I will never forget that now. Like that when people sort of say, "Have you had an awkward date?" I'll be like, "No, but I'll tell you what did happen."
Did you see her again?
Did. I was going to swear.
But before that, did you like her?
Yeah.
So was that a deal breaker for you?
Do you know what? It's just like, you know when you talk about manners and respect, like that is disrespectful. Yeah. Like at least
she
just
sort of asked.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Right. Yeah, she should have.
It was just leaving it, are we?
I always like to try things, but I definitely ask, so do you mind? Because I like to try everything. I like to even try drinks and stuff.
That's
so
that is nice.
I feel like on a first date that I wouldn't.
I think that's what
try
hit it more.
anything.
That's what hit more.
Really? Oh no,
Yeah.
I do. I like to try things.
What, like stealing their food?
It's not stealing, because no, I asked. I'd be like, oh, do you mind?
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
At least you asked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When you're not asking, is when it's annoying. I think for me that is. It's quite similar, but not like that. It's not the last one. That's painful.
Thank you.
For me, it was the fact that we took time to order anyway. So we was there. I was hungry as usual. Anyone that knows me knows I'm hungry 24/7. And I was there. Obviously, I know exactly what I'm getting. So I'm looking forward to eating this dinner. So she's ordered now, and she goes, I don't like this. So she started eating from my plate. And I said, you're not going to eat my food because you don't. I need the full capacity of this plate.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And then she, obviously, I don't like seeing food wasted because obviously I knew I was paying the bill for this one. So thinking, you better eat that because that's not going in the bin, or what's with them bags, you better bag it up and take it home or something because. But yeah, that annoyed me. So I was thinking to myself, I know exactly what I'm getting. I'm hungry, and then you're trying to eat from my plate without asking. I was like, you're not gonna
I think
ask?
that's the killer, man. Just the not asking.
I didn't realise
Yeah.
people did that.
It's just, it's painful.
That's rude.
Painful.
That's actually rude. I feel like though, when people go on dates, you should at least do the dance. Even if you're hoping that
Even if
person's
you
gonna
don't-
pay, like,
yeah.
like just. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like, yeah, I'm the same as you, Shameeka. I'm not going out with you if I can't afford to eat at that place. I need to
Yeah.
make sure that I can afford to eat there. I'm only going to order something that I can afford, so I'm prepared to pay if necessary.
course.
But then I do think that if I see a guy pay, I feel it is the gentleman
You'll be like,
words.
"Oh."
Like,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
really
it's
that's
nice
really
of them.
nice of you,
That's it.
but
Because they don't have to.
yeah, but I won't judge you if I have to pay half. I did actually have a situation though.
Oh, here
Here we go.
No, it was actually, it wasn't a dinner. It was actually it was cinema. It was going cinema.
That's
That's what I was going to say.
I was thinking,
I feel
like-
like those scenarios are only with like sit-down dinners. Whereas if you're going somewhere, I definitely don't mind booking tickets or
Yeah.
paying the entry cost.
I
or-
think it's how you behave.
Cinema and dinner.
No, the
Because
funny
that's the
thing is,
initial thing I'll always offer. Or if I've suggested it, then I'll
do
book
you know
it.
what?
That's
I think
fine.
for me, like, cinema was so cheap that I thought you were going to pay. That's the simple thing. It was like, you know, it was one of them evenings. This is quite a long time ago, but it's one of them evenings where the tickets are extra cheap or whatever. And again, it's the behaviour. Like the way he was acting, I was like, really, over a cinema ticket? Do you see what I mean? I'm ready to pay whatever. But it's the way he was acting
Yeah.
about it. It's like, it's a proper put off. Do you know what
When
I
a
mean?
girl suggests cinema to me for a date, in my head I'm thinking she's not interested.
Because you can't talk.
Yeah.
you
And
know-
like, I'm not someone who can sit through a film and not completely be silent. I have to like say a little jokey thing just to kind of get my sense of humour out to see if she's on that wavelength at least. Do you know what I mean? I can't just sit there and be quiet and watch a film.
I'm never quite watching a film anyway.
She wanted to see The Greatest Showman, which is a great film,
Yeah.
but it's just not my type of film.
Okay,
So I was
okay.
watching it and I was like, there's so much I want to take the mick out of, like a little bit.
you're just not
But
quite
just to be
sure.
silly and funny.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To see if she kind of gets my sense of humour.
Yeah.
But like one thing, it's like, shh, and you're like, okay. So I was just like, why cinema?
I think it should be done in conjunction with something else. Like you do
yeah, like go
cinema.
drinks after or something.
Yeah, something like that. I think that's...
And it should
think-
never be a first date.
was
That's
a
when you're
second.
like,
Yeah.
fully
Yeah, so you're a bit
dating.
more comfortable
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. And then...
It was a second date.
Okay.
She didn't
oh
take
yeah,
my
that's
sushi on the
still too
first.
early.
Oh, okay. So she got the second one.
She got the second date.
Yeah, and I think you have to see something that both of you are happy to see.
Yeah.
Like it can't be something that only one person's into, so that you kind of enjoy it, I guess. So you touched on this, Quincy, about gender roles.
Okay.
Let's talk gender roles. Do you think they still have? Do you think that they can have a place in society?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to
To what
elaborate?
Start then.
You might as well-
Yeah.
I want a man to do certain things for me. I do. If there's something wrong with my car, can you deal with that? I don't want to deal with that. I'm like,
That's a great point. But then if that's the case, then a woman needs to do her
definitely,
roles.
I feel like and I'm happy to do certain things that females should do. Whether that's the right way to put it or not, I'm fine with that.
And that's what I'm saying. So if there's an agreement, I hate to say these words because it's not a
But
contract.
this isn't something you discuss with people you're dating, though.
No, it's not. Yeah, but
But
I'm not saying you have to
think-
discuss it. You should know.
I think to
I
a
feel like it's
degree
stuff
you
you'll
might
pick up-
though,
you'll
because
pick up.
Yeah.
I think to a degree you might, because if you are a traditional female,
Yeah.
you need to make sure that guy's on the same page
But I
as you,
feel like
because
you'll
if not,
pick
it's
that
going to
up.
cause problems.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I
If that's
wouldn't
what you
have I wouldn't necessarily get that through conversation. I'd get that through people's actions. Like I didn't have my car for a few months, and the garage that it was in, the person I was, he was in bay training for a really long time, for 11 months, and I really thought him and I would, end up being in a relationship. The garage was 6 minutes away from his house. And I asked him, when it's ready, can you pick it up for me and bring it to me, please? And then obviously we can spend the day together. And it was a big problem. It was a big issue. And then, so that's someone that I met February last year. Someone I met in August. I don't like asking people for things, but I thought he's not hidden the fact that he really likes me, and he's maintained his effort. So he, I thought, you know what, let me just call him and ask him. And I called him, and then I was like, would you mind taking me to, this person lives nowhere near the garage. Would you mind picking me up and taking me to go pick up my car? He was like, yeah, no problem. When, what time? Massive difference. So, yeah. I feel like the actions of those people, like I liked the other person more, but their actions
stood out more for you.
And was like, okay, well, you're not the person I would want. This is the person I would want because of how that action.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence on it. Again, I think it's like a deal breaker thing, where for me, I'm happy to do pretty much anything in the house in terms of chores. But there might be one or two that I'm just like, I'm just not doing it. And it's like, I'm sorry, I won't iron. I won't pick up an iron and do my shirts. Like I need someone who's going to do that for me because I hate it. It's just a personal thing. And I think even like bed sheets, like I can't be bothered to be changing king size bed sheets every week or whatever. Other than that, I'll do anything else. Like I'll cook, I'll do the laundry, I'll do the hoovering and stuff. I don't mind, those types of things.
Yeah.
I think on the practical side though, for example, like, if you were saying, my car's got a problem, fix it. I mean,
fix it, but I don't want to deal with it. And
still,
even
I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a magician, but I would definitely offer to go and...
Yeah, or like,
cool.
I feel
That's
like that's something I would want like a guy to handle for me, even like with my insurance. Can you deal with that for me, please? But I'm very appreciative. I appreciate that stuff.
Yeah.
And
things like that I'd definitely be happy to do. There's just a couple of chores I'm just like, it just really drives me insane. I mean, I'd ask nicely. So.
But yeah, there's someone out there that doesn't mind. I guess won't mind ironing shirts.
I'm just saying it's got to be give and take. That's what I'm saying.
So it's not a rigid kind of...
It's not a rigid thing. Like, for example, when I said about the cooking stuff, I actually like cooking. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I would love to build that in the household and actually be like, cooking's a really good fun thing to do. You can make it fun. I'm just saying, like, like I said from previous experiences, if you're expecting me to cough up money to pay the bill, I'm expecting a hot plate when I get home. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you can't demand one thing and then not you can't give that take and then not give. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. So almost at the end of our discussions, guys. So to close it off, give me your top 3 tips on relationships.
Okay. My top 3 tips. Number 1 is communication. For me, communication is the biggest part of a relationship. I think if you can't be open with each other in terms of your feelings, in terms of your thoughts, in terms of just anything, you need to be able to talk to your partner about anything. And I feel like they should be the one that you want to go to, no matter what. So if you've had a bad day, they're the one you want to talk to, they're the one you want to hug from. If you've found out some amazing news, they're the one you want to tell first. When you wake up in the morning, they're the one that's on your mind. I think that is quite key, and I just think communication kind of brings that all together. I feel like the trust and honesty is a bit too obvious in terms of you want to be able to trust your partner and be honest. So for me, I'd say things like similar interests. I think it's nice that you can have your own space apart to do your own things, but at the same time, I feel you do need to equally have something you can connect on and do some things together that you both enjoy. So yeah, I think those two, and then maybe the last thing would probably be to feel secure in yourself before. I don't know whether this is for if you're looking for a relationship or if you're already in one.
On relationships in general, so you can talk about getting into relationships, so things to consider before
if you're
getting into
one. I think the biggest thing is, and I've seen a lot of guys do it, and I think I've learned from it because in the past I did it, where I got into something with a girl and realised I wasn't ready in myself. And unfortunately, what you do is you give them this false hope, they develop an attachment and it hurts them. And unfortunately, to anyone that I've done that to, I apologise because I wasn't ready and I didn't know it at the time. You can get caught up in those initial, feelings that you've got for them and think, this is amazing. Is it going too quick? I don't care, I'm enjoying it. So I think feeling secure in yourself and knowing that you are ready so that you're not, and even for the ladies as well, actually, like to feel that you're ready to be with someone and give them that impression that you're ready for it all. So security in yourself, similar interests and communication, they're my 3.
Awesome. Shameeka?
Okay, so I found out about something called attachment science, and that has honestly changed my life really, but especially the way I view people and view relationships. So I would recommend everyone to research attachment science. So that would be the first thing. Second thing would be communication. 100% talking is so important. And the third thing, I think being happy, feeling happy with yourself, and you know, not trying to replace something that you feel is missing in your life with another person. That's dangerous.
I definitely agree with communication. I think that is the most important thing. Without communication, there's pretty much nothing. You need to be talking to each other, you need to understand each other, you need to basically keep checking in with each other to see, because obviously you go through things every day and if you don't know what your partner's going through, then you don't actually know what's happening. You need to understand what they're going through. If they're upset, if they're not quite 100, you need to know why, and obviously it makes more sense because that can stem into arguments and potential breakups over something so simple because there's no communication. I also agree with sort of knowing yourself, self-love. I think I've been in that situation before as well where I wasn't in quite a happy place. And obviously I was probably, if you want to use the word, leading somebody on, thinking that everything was fine, but in my heart I knew everything wasn't fine. And I was thinking, I'm not quite in the right place to be taking on a serious relationship. So you need to know where you are internally before you get involved with somebody externally as well. And the last one, I was trying to think about this more, but you just need to, I think it's just to be yourself. I know it sounds very simple, but if you just be yourself, you'll attract somebody. If you're about to get into a relationship, you can't really meet the wrong person if you're being yourself. And I think I've done that before as well, where you try to be something that you're not, and then you end up giving someone a false reality, thinking that this is how you are, and it's not, and it will always rise to the surface. You can't hide that. Whether it's tomorrow, next month, next year, it will come up. And just don't force it, be yourself. You just do what you're doing, and then, because I'm quite a spiritual person, that person will attract you. So law of attraction, if anybody hasn't seen that or read that, it's a very good thing to watch.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. This discussion has been great. Do you want to tell people where they can find you, social media, anything you want to plug? Go ahead.
So on Instagram, crashclubmedia.com. So if anyone's obviously watching and listening, feel free to check that out because it's covering the whole spectrum of relationships, dating and love.
Shameeka.
Not really, guys. If you find me, find me.
Or ask her friends.
Okay. For me, if you want to look at the music stuff as well, might as well just follow at August 12th. And then obviously the clothing, if you want to follow that as well, Al-Wazi. It's pronounced Al-Wazi, but it's Al-Wazi for the clothing as well. And that's pretty much it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to stay in touch, follow us at The Panel UK.